Well, there's a new president of the United States, a new leader of the free world. Um, whether you're happy or whether you're sad, we have to remember, Leiv Malachim Yisadim B'Yad Hashem, the heart of kings and rulers in the hands of Hashem. We have to put our faith in Hashem. Now, one could say that as we read in this week's Torah portion, V'avorcha mevaracheko makalocha or, I will bless those that bless you, and those who curse you, I will curse. There is no question that in this first term, President Trump was a blessing to the Jewish people in the land of Israel. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem. He recognized the Golan as Israel territory. He helped negotiate the Abraham Accords, and he was generally seen as a friend to Israel. Well, going forward, we can't rest on our laurels. We have to hope and pray to Hashem that this continues to be the case, and even better. It'll depend a lot on the people around him, but we hope that Hashem puts into his mind to surround themselves with those who care about the Jewish people in Israel, but not just in Israel, all around the world. Indeed, we're seeing, as I'm videoing this, a pogrom in Amsterdam. Five Israelis or Jews already hurt. A ramming from a car I saw on video, beaten in the street. It's just mind-boggling what is taking place. And it took the authorities a half hour to 45 minutes to even come. This was what happens when you allow the riots to go on and on and on. When you allow these demonstrations with spewing hate to go on and on and on. This is inevitable. It's going to take place there and anywhere else around the world where this is allowed to fester and to continue. We call on the governments all over the world to squash these protests that are expressing itself in vile anti-Semitism and have shown itself to cause harm to Jews, as even in my own Crown Heights, where I came from, of course, there's been, in the last number of weeks, Jews have been attacked. Now this brings us to what I wanted to speak to you about, because this week's Parsha talks about the birth of Yishmael. Now Reb Chaim Vital, who was the main stenographer, the one who wrote down the teachings of the Arizal, the greatest Kabbalist who ever lived, writes that although we know there are four nations the four empires who the Jewish people are exiled amongst, Babylonia destroyed the first temple, Persia, who Haman came from, Haman, miracle of Purim happened within Persia. There was the threat of the destruction of the entire Jewish people. Yavon, which is Greece, where the Hanukkah story happened under their rule, and of course Rome and Christendom. These are the four empires who have made us suffer throughout our exiles. But Reb Chaim Vital says that there's actually, at the end of days, we're going to suffer from the hands of the children of Yishmael. Yishmael was born in this week's Torah portion, and the children of Yishmael will be the exile that we will have to deal with at the end of days. Now he brings a verse from Tehillim, from Psalms, in chapter 124. Luli Hashem Shahayalanu. Yisrael. If Hashem wasn't not with us, say the Jewish people. This is a reference to Hashem being with us in regards to the four empires where we were exiled amongst. Luli Hashem Shahayalanu B'Kumalenu Adam. If Hashem was not with us when Adam came upon us. Who's Adam? Yishmael is called in this week's Torah Parsha a para Adam, a savage, a wild man who wants to swallow us. And so Hashem is with us against them as well. This is what Reb Chaim Vital writes from 400 years ago. It's remarkable because 400 years ago we didn't feel a threat from the children of Yishmael. As a matter of fact, Jews lived in a far better way under the children of Yishmael than under the children of Esau or Christendom. But now in the end of time, and there was no reason for him to know that at then other than prophecy, he says we're going to have this issue, but we will be victorious over them. How? As it says in There's in this week's Torah portion, there's the war of 4 kings against 5 kings. So where the Ramban tells us, Nachmanides tells us that the 4 kings, a reference to the 4 kingdoms. And then there is in this week's portion where Hashem tells Abraham about the fact that his children will be slaves in a land that isn't theirs for 400 years. And then the expression of the darkness that came upon Abraham when Hashem told him this prophecy is there's 5 words. And the 4 words are reference to the 4 kingdoms. The 5th word being Olav, upon him, this is a reference to Yishmael, says the Rab Chaim Vital. And what does it say with regards to that? That Olav Yotzitz Nizrei. There's a verse in Tehillim which says that upon him, after we have this Yishmael, on top of him, there will sprout, Mashiach will come forward. And so we hope and pray that the Hashem protects the Jewish people, because right now the harshness of the exile of Yishmael is in the fact that I think it's all over the world. It's not, of course, only in Israel. It's wherever we're seeing these demonstrations, which I don't know where we're not. In America, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Europe, in South America, where are there places that we're protected from this savagery, from this danger? So we hope that leaders stop this from rearing its ugly head, from continuing to be a danger to us. And if America will do so, then this will have a ripple effect everywhere around the world. You know, we saw that England, when there were anti-immigrant riots, they quashed it quickly by making new rules. Nothing like that has been done for the anti-Semitism that we're seeing all over the world. In England, everywhere else, no one's done it. We hope that the new president of the United States does whatever he can to squash these demonstrations in America, which will have a ripple effect all over the world. And we hope that Hashem puts into his mind and heart, as he's shown in the first term, to be a friend of Israel, a friend of the Jewish people. And indeed, may the time when Olav Yotzitz Nizrei, when Mashiach will sprout forth from the challenge of Yishmael, allowing Eretz Yisrael to eradicate its enemies, to do whatever it needs to do to safeguard the people of Israel by eradicating those who want to harm us, by eradicating Hamas and Hezbollah and the leadership in Iran. By doing so, it will bring protection to Israel and indeed to Jews around the world. Shabbos.